Okay, here we go. Woohoo! The intention of this meeting is to present an officer's budget and to look at security budgeting. And at this time, no one is present, and I would like to record and present how far we've gotten on the officer's budget to date. The officers, as recorded in our bylaws, consist of president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, sergeant at arms, historian, public relations, and assistant public relations. And at this time, we have no candidates selected. We do have 6 member applications. We need at least 20 to proceed with a good election to select the interim Nevada residents who are willing to take on these chores. These are voluntary positions at this time until we are ratified. This budget is aimed at funding after ratification. We're talking about a 6-month and a 12-month budget. This is based on the 30% oversight of existing government and arriving at projects that were called most critical for the state of Nevada at this point in time. The assurance card will be released probably in September. And at that time, hopefully, we are funded and we are ratified. We're requesting a budget of $1 per card that we expect to have available to the residents. And there are more than 3 million residents. So that would be $3 million in preparation for registering those who have not received the card, the assurance card, and also registration of vendors who wish to be considered and whose codes may not have been originally prepared and included in the assurance cards. So it's a 3-prong assignment and $1 per card user assumes that there will be multiple successful card registrations already, and anything additional can be covered within this $3 million. The med beds are to be presented at $25,000 each. And for the first 6 months or 5 months of the program, we are hoping to place 10 med beds that can be by lottery as needed. And those are nursing homes. There are 78 nursing homes in Nevada. So there would be an additional 68 nursing homes in the budget year 2022 to receive the med beds. A technician earning $45,000 would be needed for each of those med beds, and hopefully we'll be training as quickly as possible additional people to service those med beds, because more work can be accomplished than one technician is going to be able to satisfy in a 24-hour day. There are 117 assisted living centers, which could be fitted with units. And for year 2, presenting a lottery for 4 units each would allow good communication of what is available, and also hopefully release some of the residents and can be extended to outlying communities where we do not have nursing homes available and where there are no healing centers or community centers. These could be actually brought in to help convert these assisted living centers into healing centers. The same would hold true for tribal medical center medbed use 4-unit lottery and veteran medical center medbeds 4 units with a lottery. Those would be serviced by technicians. And if the residents are not supportive of the medbed regime, they can easily be moved to other locations. We have discussed having community centers. We have not discussed having community areas where the people being released from nursing homes and being released from their assisted living centers could perform services for residents, such as babysitting and caretaking, and earning their own self-respect, as well as satisfying any community service requirements to have a place to live that is safe, fun, and hopefully has a variety of people. Whether this is going to be in a building, brick and mortar building, or whether this is in caravans, as other states have proposed, is completely up to folks to call forth. And it would be a good conversation to have about where we would like our elders to live productive lives and whether those productive lives are best served in their own homes, with their children, or with their extended families, or in a brand new circumstance where they can work with the children of other people who have no relatives. To manifest all this, we're going to need a good human resources person who is able to vet folks for the appropriate circumstance and also retrain for community actions and responses. A project that has been much discussed among the members is drinking water, and the fact that Nevada, as a desert, has a very real need for providing any resources related to drinking water that does not violate Mother Earth by drilling down through her layers and pulling up groundwater or water that would best be served in reservoirs and facilitating her movement without earthquakes. One of the locations is the Lovelock Railroad Siding Factory. And that would require permitting. It will require refurbishing for production needs. And for this particular budget presentation, I am preparing it for water, drinking water for small families, families of 4 or less, and also for small farms. In order to open that factory up for production of these water machines, we will need to create an appropriate environment. And that means dyes and tools and compressors and the ability to produce through heat or whatever needs is necessary for the hemp outlines, casings to be prepared. some of the electricity and hopefully all of the electricity and power needs can be obtained through solar and wind and stored on hemp batteries. This is a new incoming process. Some of the batteries are very large, others are very small. That would need to be exactly fitted to this particular project and also the maintenance supporting this project. This concept would be an employee-owned business, and the development of the employees into a community thinking posture in our divide and conquer culture will be challenging. And our human resources person will have to stay on top of that at all times during this transition. I'm recommending a factory staffing of a manager for the day and a manager for the night, and they can switch off and they can do whatever is necessary for vacations and time off. I'm recommending a staff of 25 owner operators, as that worked extremely well in a previous position I held. 25 people could change to 400 or 500 in a matter of days. Bringing in outside production staff. I do not expect that for this location. However, I know it can be easily done. There is work involved. It requires a great integrity to bring in untrained staff and give them jobs that they can complete easily and graciously and bring a qualified product out the other end of the factory. The factory itself would need to be distributed to the owners in order for this to work. The exact format of that is not known at this time, but I would suggest ESOP type stock tradings so people can buy as much of an ownership as they want. Of course, the quality and quantity of product going out the door would determine whether these employees will want to be owners. And the selection of the actual product is very important in these early days. There are many products useful at this time. Water to our committees appeared to be the most important single topic for Nevada as a whole with its desert background. And the fact that we have 3 million residents, 1 million households, and more than 175 farms, which need to have access to water and may or may not be willing or able to drill wells. To support the factory, we will need a maintenance area, and at this particular location, there is already a building in place. It would need to be fitted with tools. It would be need to be prepared for manufacturing specialized tooling and dies for making, in this case, cases for the water production units. And these would be made out of hemp. These dies would be subject to wear and tear and will need to be replaced regularly. There will need to be a forklift. This can be a used forklift. Additional forklifts can be budgeted later and they will be needed. A suggested price, if we went forward with this hemp casing, is $25 per household unit and $200 for a small farm unit. That casing would involve the dies, would involve popping out of the dies successfully. It would involve preparation for the individual pieces to be put together with the MOF 303. We are assuming for this presentation, it is produced off-site. The price given in one of the articles in the magazines and on the internet was $3 a pound. Each unit for a household requires 2.2 pounds. I'm allowing 3 pounds of source material because there will be spillage, there will be problems with it. There will be water coming into production while these units are being manufactured. They will need to be shrink wrapped, and there will need to be some sort of closure to keep them from producing water while they are being shipped by trucks and rail to their final destination. At this point, I'm saying 5.5 pounds for a small farm. That may not be enough, but for preliminary budgeting purposes, this is adequate. There will be a consumption of small tools and supplies. There will need to be glue. There will need to be smoothing apparatus. There will need to be extra coverings to keep moisture away from these highly hygroscopic substances. The expected revenue would be $2,000 a unit for the household. And the production estimated for the first year is only 100 units, as there will be startup issues. There will be permissions. There will be a need to have all of the processes quality tested. So the first year will be slow, both for the household units and for the village farm units. However, there will be income. At this time, I'm not budgeting rental income from the square footage not used by production, as I expect this to be something that moves very quickly. Other products that could be manufactured in this site include hemp batteries, Tesla turbine water generation, and those again could be pop out from hemp dyes. And the product I would like very much to produce is highway charging plate. And that would allow EV vehicles driving down the interstate to recharge themselves. In Nevada, we have 675 miles of interstate highways, federal interstate highways, that could be retrofitted with simple stick-on patches that would allow EV vehicles to regenerate in place. One of the sticklers with that would be, how do you charge for this process? And I would hope that we will soon be past this type of small thinking. We have an option with this hemp battery to produce small cells, AA, AAA, 9-volt cells from hemp. One of the discussions, ongoing discussions, is that hemp is a very good collector of energy very quickly and recharges batteries very quickly. It is a long-lasting product, and there may be resistance to marketing it, as it appears there has been resistance from everything except EV car manufacturers for looking into this product manufacture. I would very much like to have your opinions on this budget for the officers to begin working on as soon as we have ratification monies and to help flush out until we have ratification funding. So please give me your responses at nevadalife@protonmail.com or contact me directly or leave a message on our phone number. This is an exciting time. We get to offer and claim what we want. And I really hope you will use me and use the other officers and use this opportunity to say what you want. I need your input and our future officers need your input. Those of you that are willing to act in behalf of a Nevada Assembly, please contact me. Contact the Nevada Life at Proton Mail with suggestions that you would like to be an officer or a committee member. Please help us with ratification. This is such an exciting time. Please, please try. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you well.